Good morning, welcome to Beast Pat Paints. I'm Pat. I paint all sorts of pieces. I realized one of my lights is off. There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. I have like a light on the other side of the. This is the monitor camera. But anyway, I have a light on the other side, and we had some power flashes last night from all the ice that came through Oklahoma. Yeah, power was out for like 30 minutes. It's pretty crazy. A lot of fun. Yeah. Here comes my wonderful son to bring me something to drink. Because I asked for some water because I'm thirsty. Say hi, Alistair.
Hello.
This is my boy, my youngest. How are you doing today? You excited to be out of school again? Yeah. Kids, they love to be out of school, right? That's just how that goes. Awesome. I appreciate the water. Thank you. So anyway, we got all that going for us. Hey, I finally found my jar with my black goo, my grimy wash. So that's good. We got that going for us, which is it's a good thing. It is. I also finished painting up some yeomen. We got a bunch of different cool things to look at today. Get myself shit back up here where I belong. Flick on that open sign, and we'll get to work. I found this is interesting. So I found this poor thing sitting over underneath something while I was looking for a piece of an arm that fell. And I still haven't found that arm, but I did find this base, and like so, it's pretty interesting. Really shouldn't be touching this too much with my fingers, because it never got washed. So it sat underneath, and you see how it looks wet. So it sat like underneath of this thing or the counter for a while, and I didn't realize it was there. Somehow, probably got this sick, you know. Get that off of the deal, but it's still like this is what's so crazy about this resin is like it even after weeks of it just sitting out on the floor in the open air, it's still wet and still has goo goo on it. Well, I thought I had a little spray bottle of alcohol over here, and I did, but I don't know where it's going now. Anyway, this little guy needs just a quick wash. That will dry out. Now that it's cleared of all that excess resin, it should dry out, and we should be able to use it. But it's I find the resin process and the process of which 3D printing works to be extraordinarily interesting. You know, it is mildly toxic, so you definitely shouldn't be like. Don't leave a bunch of that stuff just sitting out, you know, around you. But it's kind of funky. You can lose one and then come back to it later, and you know, it's still kind of wet. I just find that fascinating. I don't know. I'm weird. So anyway, we're gonna let that finish setting up. I'm gonna put it over here in the sunlight, because UV helps cure them. That's nasty. Oh. I think as I'm getting over this illness, I'm getting a lot of phlegm and things like that coming up. Oh, I got things all sorts of disorganized yesterday. I'm trying to get everything back together today. I did manage to get all the way through all those yeomen though, which is awesome. I'll show that off here in a second. I'm starting to run out of pre-made sheets here. Must be doing a lot of painting. Alright. Up on we go. Let me get a little anal retentive here again about my paper. I like it flat. I like the wrinkles. Lots of chit chat. My family has a. I don't know how many people have family chats, but we have a family chat, and there's always a lot. If it's going, it's going. We also have this one last corpse guard to do, so I might, we might jump over to this guy for just a second after we finish up these thralls, because he's pretty cool. But I did finish up all these yeomen, and there we go. So yeah, I'm gonna pick a couple of different ones. Well, I'm gonna have all these in the video, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show off ones that look really good. And then the ones that, and then do them all as a group again. I try to keep this spade thing going on as a theme throughout them all. I thought it was kind of fun. This guy's got a great face. If I can get the camera to catch it, he's got a scar going across the across his face. It's pretty awesome. So yeah. This is technically the same model as this, right? But I put a different shield in there, and I put a different helmet on him. And this is the new Antioch actual. This is what what old Antioch's stuff looked like. So I kind of tried to theme them out with some of that Antioch look. I try to give him some personality too, where it's like this guy's got his spade painted on his faceplate. Anyway, I thought everybody might think those were pretty cool. So there they are. We'll have a short up for them. Hopefully later today, maybe tomorrow, but later. Hopefully later today. And there's my lovely daughter. How are you?
Good.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna finish all my stuff.
Finished all your stuff, your homework?
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, that's good. That's good.
I like the characters.
Yeah, I just finished all these little yeomen
Okay, so.
last night. So it's starting to get a little squad going on.
Mhm. It's actually gonna get a little. This stuff's so.
Oh, yeah. You have them on wrong. Those little grippies go on the bottom of your feet.
And it's on both sides.
Oh. Really?
Because they're reversible. Yeah. They're old people socks.
Oh. They're old people socks. I didn't know that there was such a thing as old people socks.
Oh, yeah. They make them for old people in nursing homes so they don't walk around in their soft feet so they don't slip and fall.
Oh.
And they got the rubber grippers on them. And they put it on both sides of the socks. So
I thought that was just hospital socks. I didn't realize you had to be old. Now I feel even older than I felt a moment before. Because I've had to wear those socks, and it was many years ago. So I feel, yeah, I feel pretty old now.
Oh, I was just trying to explain why there were grippies on both sides.
Oh, yeah. I'm so old, I remember when there were only grippies on one side. That's how old I am. Oh, shit. I don't want that thing to clean up fast so I can get it glued down. And one of the funniest things about these resin prints is that, like, so say you don't get all the resin out of it and you don't clean it properly, and you go to cure it. It can, if it's got a pocket inside of it, it can cause that mini to kind of like shred or explode. Kind of pops.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. These silly components do not fit the bases that they're supposed to. I've had to file down every single one of them. Always good to have a file, y'all. Or some sandpaper. Pretty easy to do here. We're just gonna. Still not quite there. This part's pretty boring, but it's essential. My camera open in weird places. This silly thing gets bumped all the time. There we go. I really should check all that stuff before I get started every time, but I don't. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at YouTubing. We've been doing this now, so we've been doing these lives for over a year now. So I feel like I'm getting better. Damn, you'd think this was for a different size entirely. How poorly it fits. Dang. I wonder if, well, from it sitting for so long, if it messed it up. This is another technique you can use. And this is going to take off a lot more. And it's not going to be quite as smooth, so you might end up with some line. You might end up with a little oblong or something. This is also a great technique for removing flash from models. Sometimes when you have something that's made in a mold instead of a print like these, they'll have mold vines on them. They're called flash or mold vines. And I'm gonna take that off if you can. Still not quite there. Very close, very close. That should fit. That should do it. You're gonna do a lot. I'll tell you something else. You're gonna do a lot of sanding on these things. Then wear a mask. You know, a little bit's not a big deal, but a lot. If you're going to be doing a lot of models in a row, or a lot of pieces in a row, you don't want to be breathing in that dust. You don't want a lot of it. It's bad for you, okay? There we go. All right. This guy down there. I just had that go over here. I'm gonna print off a couple of. I'm gonna do some printing this today because I need some more base toppers. I got the bases, but I need the toppers. Now, super glue is an interesting thing. It works great for resin prints. Super glue works out pretty okay. You gotta remember how super glue works, though. It's basically taking the water molecules in the air, and as it takes the water molecules and they evaporate, the bond creates it. So you have to super glue you have to hold it until that water evaporates so that the bond can be created. So that's why sometimes you got to hold super glue for like ever, because you're literally waiting on the water to evaporate out of the glue. So if you've ever wondered why it takes so dang long for super glue to stick, that's why. Oh my god, he's hideous. Okay. Get that flesh color out. Pale rose blush. Grail's faded green. I started trying to wipe off these Pro Coat as I use them because they have so much junk on it, but we'll see if that helps. This is just to kind of make sure we're going to pull out any of those little crevices. There's a little bit of that pale rose blush. Now we're coming back with a little of that faded green, especially over this really tuber place. Some straight crimson. And we want this to be pretty thin. nice crimson color. Make us think of blood. Call those images in people's minds when they see it. We'll add a little bit of that ochre too to give us a little bit of that infectious look. Really does help make sure we're getting that pretty thin on the crimson. Yellow ochre. We'll get this and thinned out pretty good too. Using this ochre as kind of like the pus and infection weeping out. So kind of on the bottoms of all of this, not on the top. Pretty gnarly looking. I really love this sculpt. He's so crazy. So gross. Alright, so on to the next one. Now, these last two guys are gnarly looking. I mean, crazy looking gnarls. Really excited. We're gonna go with this guy. I call him Big Balls. He's, I mean, you know. Got giant. He's got a giant growth here instead of a nutsack. It's pretty crazy. Like a bug-like head. It's so strange. Anyway, we're just gonna basically use those same techniques that we've been doing on the other two here. Be mindful and take a look and see what we're doing. And we got ribs here, so those are bones. That's probably part of his other rib cage. Down in there, there's a couple little dots. I think you can see them right there. So that's probably going to be the rib cage. And this one literally looks like he's like going to burst forth flies or something from his gonads. Flies from the gonads. That sounds like a really terrible garage metal band. flies from the gonads, live at the endoplasmic reticulum. With special guest, mitochondria. When I was younger, I did this. My friend Rob and I, one of our assignments when we were in science class was to come up with a creative way of naming all the parts of the cell, and we did it as a rock and roll concert. So now I start talking about medical stuff, and I turn it. I always go to this rock concert in my head. Anyway, I'm a weirdo. You wouldn't be here if you didn't like weird stuff. So you signed up for this. It wasn't my fault. We're just gonna do that one side of that. He's so ugly.
You love it.
I do. I don't know why I love ugly things. Like really ugly dogs. Ugly cats. Love them. Have you ever noticed there's more ugly dogs than there are ugly cats?
Definitely.
I've always found that weird. That there's.
It's because we messed with the dog's genes so much. We didn't do that to cats.
True enough.
We tried to make dogs all these different things.
We did make all the dogs all these different things.
We did.
No, that happened. Like it's already there. We're there. There is no try. There was do or do not. There was no try.
And people got what they wanted out of dogs, but it also had some interesting repercussions.
My nephew had this crazy old dog named Boston, and this dog was just uglier than sin.
Definitely some genetic issues there.
He was hilarious. Poor guy. He's no longer with us. But that's dogs and cats for you, and they only come in and out of your life for so long. So enjoy them while they're here, because they won't be here forever. Just like us. Hug your loved ones and hug your pets. They deserve it. Okay, well maybe your loved ones don't. I don't actually know your loved ones, so maybe something. I mean, if you're calling them your loved ones, I would assume that you're okay with hugging them. But again, maybe I shouldn't assume those things. Naples yellow. A little bit of Naples for the bones. A little bit of ochre for the moans. A little faded green for infection. A nasty flesh for their rectum. Something's wrong with me. I'm not gonna stress too much about any overpainting right now. Got a lot of things getting ready to go back on here. So again, I'm gonna start that infectious ooze colors. Kind of get it started. This guy's got so many pores and open wounds and nastiness. Feels like most of this guy is gonna be like yellow. This pussy yellow color. I don't even know what that's supposed to be hanging out of him, honestly. It's so gross. And again, this always looks a little sloppy at first, but when it all comes together, it's gonna look great. I mean, honestly, pus is kind of sloppy. Ooze is sloppy. It's just, yeah. Par for the course, right? Okay. Pretty thin coat here. Pelrose blush. Make sure this is real thin. We're really trying to make sure we're going to get down into crevices and cracks. But if you see it pooling too much, just go ahead and move that on out of there. Spread that around a little bit.
That's nice.
Did you throw it on the floor? Oh, the coffee should have slowed it down enough so maybe it didn't pop the lead inside the pencils. Maybe you got lucky and you have that going for you.
Guess we'll find out when it dries out.
Yeah, definitely gonna find out one way or another. So that's gonna happen. Alright, I'm gonna go with that faded green. And I didn't even wash my brush out here. I'm just gonna go straight to it. I'm not really. Again, this is our top coat, so I'm not necessarily worried about it kind of lingering over each other. And I love this two-toning of them. Like you get the little infectious green, light green, and you get that, other Pelrose fleshiness color itself. The two tones really do make it seem pretty interesting. Now you could get crazy on these, and you could paint every single fold by hand and make yourself absolutely insane doing it. That is an option. It's not an option I'm going to go with. Because this guy is going to be so much easier if we just toss some colors on him. throw that wash down, and then we'll come back and do some dry brushes and stuff like that. Add things we want to add from there. Putrid. That's the best way to describe this thing. Putrid. Maybe he's supposed to be the Eggman from the song. Giant egg right here. Yeah, probably mentally deficient. I definitely fight sometimes out loud. Social graces. And empathy. No, I'm actually a pretty empathetic person. Or at least maybe sympathetic. You'd think we'd all strive to be sympathetic, but that doesn't, that's not always how that goes, is it? I would say rarely. I would say rarely. It's rarely how it goes. Alright, got just a few more little spaces. Make sure we've got some base coat in. Again, that two-tone base or three-tone base coat here really is going to pay off in the end. If you haven't checked out the other two videos where we've been working on getting these flesh bits done, then you'll miss the miracle of all of this, and you should go check it out because it's pretty neat. It's a pretty practiced result at this point, so that's one of those things that I like, where it's like, okay, well, they've done this a few times now, so it should pay off and work exactly the way it's set up. Alright, so that's Windsor Violet and Raw Umber. We're going to use that to make this wash, which I'm calling the Black Grail wash. Because this is definitely what makes them look like they're infected. Just a little bit of umber, a little bit of Windsor Violet. Extra thin, extra thin. Read all about it. We're just gonna get this whole thing kind of very light wash. Not quite enough umber in there. Boy, it is open rip openings in general. So you're not just dousing this thing in this stuff. You do want to have some control. Oh, that's not a pencil sharpener, it's some sort of eraser. Or smudger.
It's an eraser. I messed up with the markings on this dog.
I know how that goes. I prefer to do it when I'm drawing or coloring than I do when I'm painting. Accidentally painting markings on something wrong is like just throw the whole baby and the bathwater, throw it all away.
Yeah. Yeah. This part of the dog's supposed to be white, so.
Woo.
Yeah.
And put some. Just throw some gesso on top of it.
Yeah.
Just gesso that motherfucker. It'll be alright. For anybody out there that's into art, you'll know that what that joke is. That's a good one. That was a really good joke. Gesso is something that we put on canvases to prep them, is what that is, for those of you at home who maybe don't know what it is. So you don't have to stay in the dark, because that's no fun. No fun, like when everybody's ja, and then you can't ja with them.
But yes, it like basically creates a new surface for you to color on.
Yeah, well, paint, but you also colorize. Yeah.
It works for colors.
Yeah, it was designed for painting, but it can be used on a lot of different things. I'm determined to throw this guy on the ground. Oh, he's got so many ugly folds. It's so gross. Like legit body horror kind of grotesqueness here. Set up to go on a base for tomorrow. Definitely gotta get around to getting that print set up today.
Well, it's not like we have anything else to do.
Well, I was gonna do it yesterday, but I got broke off on these yeomen. It is definitely ice. And a lot of it. I mean, technically snow is ice, so.
It's not the snow that's keeping us in our house.
It is definitely not the snow. It is 100% that ice.
Thick layer of ice.
I found out that Plague Dog has a strange little oblong base that we're gonna have to track down and find. I think I have a print for that, but I'm not exactly sure. Okay. I guess we can move on to this one. Kind of get him started. 45 minutes. I'm gonna take a break. We'll take a little hand break. You should definitely do that from time to time. Take a break. Really, every 30 minutes, you should take a break. Kind of flex your fingers around. Whether you're drawing or painting or coloring or whatever, hammering. It doesn't matter. If you're using your hands for something, every 30 minutes or so, just kind of give them a chance to kind of do this with them. You got to do this more as you get older. Like I'm cruising up on 50, so like I gotta every now and again check my hands. It's so weird to think about like that, like almost 50 years old, almost half a century old.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Life goes so fast. Enjoy it. No time. There's no time to literally sit around and be mad about stuff. Go out there, enjoy your life. That's my advice to everybody. Cheers. I love that stretched face on that thing. So crazy. Alright, so back to the same game. Magenta first. And again, I love this magenta as that back note for the inside of bodies and stuff. Just because as we add things to it, it remains that dark reddish purple blue. One of the things people forget, and this is fun, about the body and blood, is that your blood is actually more of a blue color than red when it's in your body. It oxidizes when it comes out of your body, and that's what turns it red. And this process is instantaneous. Like it as soon as the oxygen touches it, it starts turning red. So that's why when you get a cut on your finger, it comes out red instead of blue. But if you get enough blood come out, it starts to look like blue-black, right? Because it is changing colors because the oxygen's hitting it, but there's so much of it that you're able to actually watch the change. And that's when that's a lot. That's when, if you're seeing that much blood come out of you, you need to go to the hospital. If it gets to where it's that blue-black color, that blackish, reddish, purple, get in the car and go to the hospital or call an ambulance. You're bleeding real bad at that point. When I was a boy, I got hit by a car, and I saw that kind of blood coming out of my own head. And I'll tell you what, that's an experience. My friends ran across the street. They didn't look, they just ran. My dumbass stopped, looked both ways, didn't see a car coming, stepped off the curb and got hit. So, to explain it, I was on top of a hill, and when I looked this way, the car was down at the bottom of the hill. So then when I looked this way, I didn't actually see the car while I was traveling, right? So when I look back this way, the car is so like I'm up here on top of the hill. So the car is now coming up this way, right? And I'm up here. And it comes over the top of the hill as I step off the curb. There it is. So that's how I got hit by a car even after I looked both ways. It was really wild. So and the guy who hit me looked like Santa Claus. It was really strange.
He was over-medicated.
He was over-medicated, and the insurance company, yeah, that's right. I told her the story probably 100 times. Or at least she's heard me say it 100 times. And like the insurance company didn't want him to tell the truth. They wanted him to just basically not say anything really much at all. But he got up on the stand and he was like, no, listen, I shouldn't have been driving that car. I hit the kid. We should pay this out. And if it hadn't been for him stepping up like that, my family probably would have gotten crushed under my medical debt. And it would have been bad. So I always kind of, it sucks that I got hit by the car, and it's basically given me a lifetime of pain, and it hurt. It still hurts, but I'm not angry with that old man for it. because of him stepping up like that. And and you could spend your life being mad as hell. I could have spent my life being just in pain. Now, that was just a little support I pulled out there. It's kind of hard to see it, but I'm cleaning this guy up as we're going. Anyway, yeah, I could have spent my life mad at him and mad at the world for what happened to me. Because I was at a corner. They ended up putting a crossing. There's a crossing guard there to this day. There's now a crossing guard at the whole corner I got hit because of the situation. So, I mean, it definitely it's helped other people. I know now kids are not getting hit.
Yeah, it's a much safer area now.
Yeah, and it sucks for me on a personal level, but because I understand that we live in a society that will move on beyond me, I feel like there was some purpose in it, and that makes it a little bit easier to deal with. I mean, my hips hurt so bad I can hardly stand up, or my my shoulder starts acting up because it gets too dang cold, or there's a million things that happen when you're having to live with a chronic pain. Again, don't worry too much about overpainting here. We're going to come back and fix some of that stuff later. We really want to just make sure we're getting that magenta in there. Okay. Figure out what I'm going to make this fly thing coming out of him. What color am I going to make that thing? It's so weird. It's like a fly or a mosquito or something, and it's just bursting out of a maw that used to be its chest and head. So grotesque. I love these things. They're so nasty. They're so fun. So you see as this one's getting dried out. Really, really great details on this thing. So when we come back, we'll come back, put some colors on there, start refining all these edges, and get this guy, really freaky looking. Alright, 54. We're going to start closing this guy down. I'll get back to that guy tomorrow. So, day 3, we got, this guy's pretty close to done. We might come back with a little bit. We might do some red ink in here, just because the ink has that shiny quality to it. So we may add a little bit of that to it. We could also, we could also, like I was saying the other day, we could just hit this guy with a, oh gosh, now my head's not, a glossy varnish, and it'll make him look wet, semi-gloss, make him look like he's wet. So just, we got some options here, we got some things to think about. But yeah, I think this is, I really like this look for a plague creature. There we go. I get my fingers underneath it focuses better. Yeah, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. I really like these sculpts. That's why I went with Black Grail, because it's just so gross. But I think we might end up picking up some more now that you can buy them on My Mini Factory, so we can print off all the different factions. I really like that idea that you can just pay the price and get the file, and then you can print your own. I mean, they'll send you some if you want. You can have them print them, send you some, I guess. But again, you just print your own, which is great. That's a great thing. Oh, it's a little fox. Oh, it's a corgi.
That corgi's on fire.
That's hilarious. It's a burning corgi. That's amazing. There you go. Well, there you go. Well, kids, gentlemen, ladies, freaks of all ages, we're gonna sign off. I'm gonna get this printer running, get some stuff printed off because we need bases because I gotta glue these dice down. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy trying to hold on as we paint some of this stuff. So, but yeah, check in later today, maybe tomorrow for the shorts. It should hopefully just pop up in your feed if you've been liking and subscribing. If you haven't done those things, please do. Maybe it helps the algorithm, or maybe it just makes me feel better. I don't know. I like the dopamine hit, so give me one of those. And remember, like if you subscribe to a channel but you don't like anything on the videos or anything that they do, then Facebook will, or not, YouTube will take away your subscription later on down the road. So if you do like what we're doing around here, then hit us up with a like and a subscribe and a like. Do both. Here comes my youngest again. Oh. We're signing off. I'm gonna say goodbye.
Bye.
Tell everybody be good to somebody. He's not gonna do it. He's kind of a pirate and a little bit stubborn. You'll grow out of it, right? Yeah. Right, buddy. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna say be good to somebody. Go be nice to somebody out there. The world's got too much of not nice. We need people being nice to each other. Maybe if we start a movement or something, and we can get people being nice. Anyway, hope you had a good time. I did. We're gonna talk to you later. Bye.